and he only looks for properties that are going to be near that factory so that he can promote his rental property to people who are going to be looking for jobs at that factory. So you will come up with what's important to you, and we will give you the tools to find it. Then, when you find it on our website, photographs, as I said, of most of the properties, title information, all kinds of information. We also have a resource of educational materials, so seminars like this, PowerPoints, lists of frequently asked questions, links to all the different county websites, all kinds of things that will help you determine whether it's a good investment for you. As far as valuation, properties that are listed on our website are also, you're going to find them on Trulia, what's the other? Zillow. You're going to find them on those websites too. So you can use sort of the information from all of it to help you determine what you value that property at. Then on our website, we will tell you when and where the foreclosure is going to take place. In Union County, I believe it's on Tuesdays, every Tuesday at 2 o'clock. Is that right? Wednesday. It's also on Wednesdays. It's on Wednesdays at 2 o'clock. Some counties in New Jersey are Tuesdays.
Yeah, Essex and
Essex.
Somerset.
So they're all different, and so when you click on the link to the county, you will get the details as to that foreclosure auction. So this is a little snapshot of what the information looks like on our website. So you're going to have a picture of it. This one has 3 photos. They're going to be outside only because we can't go in, right? But you're going to have estimated value of the property. If we have what the opening bid is going to be, that's going to be on there too. We don't always have that information. It's only if our clients tell us what that bid is going to be, can we publish that. This tells you the details. This one is on a Tuesday. And then you have the ability, when you search and you find properties that are interesting to you, you can save them, and then you will get a report. You will get emails if something happens to that property, if it cancels, if it's going to sale or not. So you can, every time you log in, you don't have to go searching for that property again. It will show up as one of your saved assets. So those are the types of tools that we want to show you how to use tonight, or today, okay? So, you need to do your due diligence. Write that down. You're going to hear that a lot. What is due diligence? What do we mean by that? Basically, you need to do your homework. How many were really good at doing homework in school? Anyone?
No.
Some of you were. If you were good at doing your homework in school, you're going to be good at doing this. So, how do you do your homework with regard to these properties? What is critical is not to be doing this alone. You need to establish your own network of people that can help you so you can help each other. What do I mean by that? Well, we're giving you an opportunity to network today. I mean, look at these gentlemen and ladies today who are up here. You need to know people like this. You need to know other investors, like the gentleman here who's bid on 50-some properties or whatever. Professionals that you can go to for advice. A very important person, your real estate agent. Raise your hands again if you're a real estate agent. Those of you that aren't, get to know these agents. They have a wealth of information. What do I mean by that? Well, you might look at that property on our website and think, this looks great. It's valued great. I can get it at a great price. It looks good from the outside. The street looks good. But then you talk to a real estate agent who's in the trenches, who knows that neighborhood. And she might say to you, oh my gosh, if you're going to try to rent that, forget it. Everything on that street has been trying to rent for a year. No one's been able to rent anything. Or you might want to flip it. And they might say, ooh, gosh, you're going to have trouble flipping that because there's been so many foreclosures in that neighborhood. The point is that the real estate agent is going to have They're boots on the ground. They're going to have information that we don't have, and you're not going to find just by searching the internet. There's some things that can't be done on the internet that you need to interface with people. So a real estate agent is important. Also, as you learn about the property, you might need to talk with someone who knows title. Who's the title person? Okay, we have a title person here for you to know. But there's other title people as well. Why do I say that? Well, I tell you that auction.com makes all this information available to you for free. Well, you're new at this. Yeah, we're going to give you a title report. Are you going to know what you're reading? Are you going to understand what you're looking at? We give you the information, but we're not going to, walk you through and explain it all to you. So you might need to talk with a title person, maybe get their title opinion. And they say, uh-oh, there's liens on here that are going to survive the foreclosure. The idea when you bid on a property at foreclosure is that all the liens get wiped out. But there's some liens that survive, that become a problem for you, maybe tax liens, things like that. So, especially in the beginning, you need to have a title professional that you can get with and speak with and maybe hire. I know no one likes attorneys. You don't hurt my feelings. I get it. But guess what? You need an attorney. You just do. Because when I was in practice, I would get people come into my office and they'd say, here's the deal I did. Can you get me out of it? Can you fix this for me? And many times I would say, I wish you came to me before you did the deal. And people will say, I go to these events and people say, well, an attorney will charge me. Yes, an attorney will charge you. That's money well spent. If you're going to plop down $150,000, it might be worth paying a couple $100 to get an attorney's opinion about something. Also, in New Jersey, if you get a foreclosure at the courthouse, remember I said it's probably going to be occupied? So after that sale is confirmed or approved by the court, what's the first thing you need to do? An eviction. Now, in New Jersey, can you do that without an attorney? Yes, you can. But the first time or two that you do an eviction, you might want to use an attorney. They know how to do it. You don't need to be learning on your own property for a small fee. Hire an attorney to do it. The point is that that's another professional you need to know. A real estate agent, an attorney. What about a CPA or an accountant? Talk with your CPA or your accountant. Everyone's situation is different. They might tell you to form an LLC and buy these properties in the name of an LLC. Some people, they tell them to buy each property in the name of a different LLC. So you need to figure out your own tax situation with an attorney. Another professional, finance. Do we have the finance person here? No. But we're going to have a finance person here as well. There is now the ability to finance these properties. Some of the counties will let you secure financing during the 30 days that you have to come up with the balance. Or you can secure financing for the properties that you're going to purchase in the online auctions. Now there's several lenders that do loans based on using money from your IRA. So there's money to be had to do these investments. It's not just your savings. There's a lot of opportunities now, so you need to talk with a money person, or what we call a hard money lender, which is someone who's going to take the risk of these loans. It's not like they're going to break your kneecaps if you don't pay, but it's not your traditional bank that's going to lend you the money for these things. Also, we've got a contractor. We have a contractor here. So that's someone that you also want to have a relationship with and know before you buy. If you're bidding in a property that's, you drive by it, maybe take your contractor with you to take a look at it. Or if it's a property that's in an online auction, take your contractor with you when you go in. He might say, this is not a sturdy wall, or there's a problem here with the plumbing. So unless you have that knowledge yourself, you want a professional with you. All these professionals become part of your network. Also, not just sessions like this, but New Jersey in particular has what we call REIA groups, R-E-I-A. That's a Real Estate Investors Association. It costs very little money to join, like $150, something like that a year to join. There's great ones throughout New Jersey. You can go online. Sometimes we have people from it. Do we have anyone here from a local REIA? What's the one called in this area? N-A-R-E-S-N. So you go online, you find it. What they will do once you've joined, or even before you join, you can go to a meeting. They have regular meetings. A lot of the meetings, I speak sometimes at them, so they have an educational aspect to the meeting. Usually it's at night in a restaurant, and you will meet other investors there, some who are very sophisticated, very experienced, some who are novices. But you will build a network by talking to those people. Sometimes you find someone to go in on property with you and invest together with you. Or at a lot of these meetings I've been to, they have almost like a swap meet at the beginning of the meeting. And they open it up and someone says, I have a property in West Orange that I'm looking to rent out. Does anyone know anyone? Someone else says, oh, wait, I have a property in Newark. And they end up networking and doing business that way. So you want to create a very good network. I've heard it said that your net worth is only as valuable as your net work. So I cannot emphasize enough that you get to know people like we have on our panel, and certainly the real estate agents that are here in the audience today. Usually I do these at night. So, we have this, I don't know if we have this on a handout, but we certainly have it online. But basically, this tells you 10 steps, which is most of everything that I've said that you're going to need to look at or consider when you are identifying properties. One other thing to think of is just because you find that perfect property doesn't mean you should stop looking on our website. You want to identify multiple properties. Why? Because a lot of these sales cancel. You're going to figure it out, identify this perfect property, talk to your network, get your 20% down payment, secure the rest of the money, go to the courthouse at Wednesday at 2 o'clock. It's at 2 o'clock, right? And you're going to go there, wait, and wait, and wait. And when they finally get to the address that you're interested in, they say, oh, that's canceled. So you've like wasted all this time and energy. But remember what I said in the very beginning. They cancel for all sorts of reasons. Maybe everyone in their church scraped together the money and they brought the loan current. So a lot of things can happen, and that's why you want to go through this exercise for multiple properties. All right, so now we get to the bank-owned properties. This is totally different. These properties, no one bid on them at the foreclosure sale because maybe people were afraid. Maybe the price was too high, or they weren't comfortable not being able to go inside, and it looked pretty shabby from the outside, so they were afraid to bid on it. That is going to be the majority of the properties. Most of the properties will end up as bank-owned properties. That is to your advantage. Here's where you really want to pay attention. I hope you paid attention the whole time. But here's where you really want to pay attention, because these mortgage companies do not want to own properties. They are not set up to manage properties. That is not their business. They make money on lending making mortgage loans. They don't want to be now responsible for these properties. So they are very motivated to sell these properties. So they act usually fairly quickly, and they will do an eviction right away, get the property vacant, bring a management company in, and sort of prep the house so that they can resell it. And then they will typically hire a real estate agent and plop a sign in the front yard. They want to sell these properties. They want to sell them either online, in our online auction, or they want to sell it to the public when someone comes by. It's not going to say foreclosure in the front yard. It's just going to be a for sale sign. So when you look on our website, using the same filters to identify the properties that are important to you, you're going to see these bank-owned properties. Sometimes they will pop up for an online auction right away, where you really can, jump in and take a look at it. Also, when they have an agent, you can go inside. Sometimes we'll have an open house. We'll give you the information on our website as to the agent's contact information, and you could go make an appointment and go inside it. Don't you feel better already? Right? It's a big difference being able to go inside it and take your time. A lot of times these properties will show up on our website weeks, 3 to 4 weeks before the online auction is going to start. So you've got time to do your what? Due diligence. And you could do it a lot differently because you've got time and access to the property. So a lot of times and sometimes there's opportunities for the real estate agents on these properties because the sellers, the mortgage companies are motivated. They will offer a co-op, a broker's co-op. A lot of opportunities for everyone. The foreclosure sale will have been completed, so that means you're gonna, when you sit down with that title and your title professional, you will have a better understanding of what the situation is with regard to that title. So you're going to search for the properties the same way for these bank-owned or REO properties. You're going to be able to register to bid on the property in our online auction. And then if you win the bid, you submit earnest money. All this takes place online, through our portals online. And then a closing will be scheduled, just as if you bought the property in a regular real estate transaction. So you will have time to secure the thing to complete the closing. Our online auctions take place in New Jersey starting on Tuesdays. So we used to do them twice a week. Now they start on Tuesday and they run for approximately 3 days. So you'll register, you'll enter your bid, and you will get emails to know when you need to increase your bid. Sometimes, not always, do we know what the minimum bid is that the lender will take. So it's not guaranteed that you're going to get it if you're the successful bidder because the mortgage company has to approve it. And sometimes you don't get it, no one gets it, and then it comes back to auction a few weeks later. Don't lose your patience. Be patient. Keep registered. Keep paying attention because that property might come back for auction 2-3 times till the mortgage company finally gets it through their head. Guess what? This is what it's worth. You need to sell it. And we try to educate our mortgage company clients, but a lot of times it takes a while to get them to understand that there is a price at which it will sell, and they need to offer it at that. Sometimes you're able to make an offer directly, not in the auction. Just make an offer, and they might accept it that way too. So there's a lot of opportunities for you through these events. Also, remember what I said, it's nationwide. You can be, once you get comfortable looking at properties, maybe you have relatives in Illinois and you're looking at properties in Chicago and they can go look at it for you and help you. And maybe you're interested in looking beyond the local area. Sometimes you have to sort of you'll have less competition if you step outside the major area. Most of the foreclosures in New Jersey are where? What county?
Oh, geez, well, we have 21 counties. A lot of the foreclosures are centered around the shore area.
Sure.
So,
Everyone's property is the shore.
well, the Sandy, kind of impacted the shore. So between here and the shore area, the 95 corridor, that's where the bulk of the assets that are distressed. Right now, though, Northwest is the focus. Northwest parts of New Jersey.
So what that means is that you're going to have more competition for the property. So since you can be sitting in your pajamas navigating our website at your leisure, look beyond the popular areas because it's still a short drive and you could manage the property in an area where you have a better chance of getting it. So we have a website. We also have an app for the iPad and even for Android users. I don't know any Android users. I only have an iPhone. But I hear there's people that use something other than an iPhone. We do. You don't have an iPhone?
No, S9.
How do you survive?
I know.
All right. So that's for another time. So
Yeah, mine.
that's a whole other discussion. I'll show you guys
iPhone,
how the
but it's the worst.
iPhone works. But what that means is that you could be anywhere. So my favorite story is just a short time ago, we had a Canadian investor who bid on a Florida property while he was on vacation in the Caribbean. And he even signed everything because our documents are signed through DocuSign. So you literally can be anywhere and be using our resources. So I had mentioned this, but I'll mention it again since we have so many real estate people here, real estate agents and brokers. These are important people to know because they can also help you create that network that you need. Because real estate agents know title people. They're going to know lenders. They're going to help you value that property. Whether you want to flip the property, whether you want to rent the property, they're going to be able to help you with that. If you're new at this, real estate agents are going to be able to introduce you to an attorney, and they also know contractors who might have worked in that neighborhood or worked on similar properties. So of all the people to know, I would say take advantage of that today. I'm going to guess they all have business cards with them, and so make sure to get their business cards. So the specifics of how, I guess we could go over. Bill, do you want to help me with the specifics of the courthouse here? I guess we'll talk about Union County, which is where we are, and we'll explain
No,
that.
let's not do that.
Okay, we're not going to do that.
Yes, again, ladies and gentlemen, everyone know the Union County auction is held every Wednesday at 2 p.m., right? You need to be there at what time? At least 1:30. You will have to pre-register, so have your funds there. Again, the guys will tell you a little bit of something about the types.
But let me interject something here, because when I was explaining about this learning process that you're going through, right? You're coming here, you're going to go maybe to some RIA meetings, you're going to network. Raise your hand if you have never attended a foreclosure auction at the courthouse. All right, keep that hand up, your right hand. Promise me that you will go. Go. First of all, it's open to the public. It doesn't cost you anything. We've told you now when and where it takes place. So one day in the next few weeks, go. Be a fly on the wall and just watch the process. Stay for an hour and watch the process. Why? It's part of your education, number one. And number two, you don't want your first time to be when you've got your money in your pocket and you're nervous and you're going to be intimidated by the guy here who buys 50 properties, right? You don't want to be, you're going to make a bad decision. You're going to maybe, raise your hand when you didn't mean to. You're not going to have the same results as when you walk in confident You know where it is, you've been there before, you watch properties go, you know the properties you want to buy, you've talked to your network, and you're going to walk in with confidence. So promise me you will attend an auction. I promise.
Promise.
All right. All right. So I know you all have questions. I know that we've, sort of held you at bay. I know I've gone over my time because I always do. So what we're going to do now...
I'm sorry, Joe, 1 second. Let me just finish this part. All right? Again, you guys, make sure that you have the nominations right. You got to have certified funds. Don't bring cash. Anything over, $500 or $1,000, you're going to have to go get cash. All right? Sometimes a little balance, they'll let you pay that in cash, but they prefer certified funds. And you have to make them out to who? Who? Bill Smith, correct. But if you're trying to buy this property there, make it out to the sheriff of that particular county. All right? In a few minutes, I'm going to get to your questions. We're almost there. I have a very anxious panel, too. They're tired, too. All right. So, again, please call the foreclosure unit in Union County if you have any questions. If you're not sure this property is going to sell, call them up. They'll answer the question for you if you can get through. If not, see someone in a green shirt at the auctions. I have staff all around the room here. We're normally there in green shirts. We'll do all we can to assist you. Also, as Joel suggested, go to an auction. I have 3 representatives from Culture Estate plus the CEO here. If through this process you do not schedule an appointment for them to take you to an auction and guide you through the process, you've done yourself a disservice, because Lewis and his staff, their job is to what? Guide you through and help you get a successful property for yourself or, for an investment opportunity. And they'll do that not for free when it closes, but he's going to make sure that you are successful. And that's what we want you to be, successful. All right? Just one other thing. Diane is who you'll normally see in Union County. She'll be there with a green shirt. She's not here today. You can give us a call directly at our office in Jersey City. We do one-on-one events with you. If you need any assistance, like I said, the concierge forms, they're passing out now in the back. Please fill them out. All right? And let us know what your focus is, what area you want to build your empire in, and how you might think we might be able to assist you. All right? Our office is in downtown Jersey City, and I have another one in Marlton, New Jersey for the southern region. So as Joe suggested, we are statewide and nationwide. All right?
All right, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to have each member of our panel briefly introduce yourself, tell us what you do, and then come start asking us questions. We want you to leave here having your questions answered. If you have a question, chances are someone else has that same exact question, so don't be shy. All right, so we've got Luis.
Thank you. Louis.
Joe, Joe's got it. Louis, take it from here.
Thank you. Louis Label with Culture Estate, broker and owner. We've specialized in distressed property, short sales, sheriff sales. So hopefully we can answer any of your questions this afternoon.
Yes, I'm Jim Tharp with Jersey Strong Construction. Wasn't my partner Joe was over in the corner, but we're a full-service construction company, management. We specialize in new home construction, customs, full renovations, kitchens, baths, basements. That's pretty much everything. We help our customers bring their vision to reality.
As you guys may have guessed, I'm not actually Nicole Platt. I'm actually John Tipanaro, but and all the information on my cards will say that as well. But if you can't remember my name, you can just email her and say you met her better-looking, more charming brother, and she'll know who you're talking about. So, Fortune Tell Agency, we work in New Jersey, New York, PA, and soon-to-be Florida. We specialize in foreclosure, and we do preliminary work before the auction, as well as handling the closing.
Hi, my name is Joe Gachko. I'm an attorney here in Westfield, New Jersey. I've been practicing 35 years. My practice is primarily real estate law. I handle all types of residential, commercial, distressed, short sale, sheriff sale, whatever you guys are interested in buying. I've handled it over the 35 years. I have a lot in this area, so hopefully you'll have some questions. We can answer them for you today. All right? Thanks.
Okay. David Weintraub from First Equity Funding. They're hard money lenders or private money lenders. If you guys have any lending questions, I should be able to answer them for you. I've been through enough panels, and so Joe too. Joe's been in enough panels with First Equity that we can pretty much answer any of those questions. So can we get someone to get started? Sir,
Hey, how you doing?
your name?
And question.
Kevin Schaefer. So how come some properties have a buyer's premium and some don't?
Okay, why some properties have a buyer's premium and some don't? Usually the reason why you'll see a buyer's premium on auction.com.
Also, you have Ocean County up on top and Union County.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's Union. Ignore the top.
Okay, usually why you'll see a buyer's premium on most REOs you'll see on auction.com is because there is a real estate cooperation fee on some of these. So in order for realtors to get paid on these transactions, they'll charge a premium on it so that way the broker can get paid. So if you notice, next time you buy a house on auction.com and there is no buyer's premium, there usually are no brokers involved either. So that's usually why you'll see that. Okay. Any other questions, please?
Thank you.
No problem.
Hey, my name is Evan Muehlfelder. How do you come prepared with 20% so that if you don't know what your bid's going to be, you don't know what it's going to go for?
Okay, good question. All right, so his question was, how do you know how much to bring in certified funds? The way you do this is you ask yourself, how much can I afford either with the cash I have in my bank, or how much can I comfortably buy with the experience I have, or what's my threshold? You know, how much money do I have for a deal if I have to go hard money? So if you're limited to what you can finance with hard money, then 20% of that is what you should probably think, okay, well, I should bring 20% of what I can qualify for. So if that number is $200,000, then bring yourself a check for 20, a check for 10, a check for 5, a check for 3, and a check for 2. And that'll equal out to $40,000. That's 20% of $200,000. The reason you do that is because if you get it for $150,000, you don't want to leave the extra money there. So that way you could just leave just enough. And like Bill said, you are allowed to bring $1,000 in cash. So if you hit a weird number like $15,200, you can cut the sheriff $200 in cash and it'll be fine. Now, if you're not getting free certified checks, make sure you go to your bank and tell them that you want to upgrade your account so you can get free certified checks. Because if you'll do this more than once, it gets pretty costly, especially if you're jumping from county to county. You're going to have to keep bringing the checks back and forward. Yes, sir?
Cool, yeah, and just a quick follow-up.
Mm-hmm.
Then you've got 30 days after the auction to go to a lender, or, I mean, can a lender, it took us longer than 30 days to get a lender to come up with the mortgage for our house. How do you fit a mortgage for an investment property into those 30 days?
Okay, now this is another thing you got to remember. The sheriff doesn't care that you're going to get a lender, or the bank doesn't care that you're going to get a lender for this property. So if you get a hard money lender, a private lender, to give you an approval on something like this, you got to make sure that you can get them either a drive-by appraisal or somehow you've worked a deal out with the occupants that you can get in for an appraisal, right? And then the hard money lender should be able to give you a loan if you have all your ducks in a row. That means you're a great borrower. You have all your tax returns. You have everything that you're going to need to show them. They should be able to close a deal in about 2 weeks, 30 days tops if it's a real tricky deal. But you shouldn't have any issues with paying off the sheriff. Now, the sheriff does want you to pay them within a certain time frame. They're not going to give you an exact date, and they're not going to give you a hard cutoff, but you can't take any longer than 30 to 60 days, because then you start to push the chances of you losing your deposit.
I'm sorry, excuse me, 1 second. Hey, Joe, could you bring that in for me? Ladies and gentlemen, we've been working with Louis for about 2 years now, and I was remiss. It was his birthday, so I wanted to wish him. Ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, man.
You know, he's also he's a health nut also. He might not even eat it.
Oh, my Lord.
He might not even eat it. He's such a health nut. I want to acknowledge you, my brother. We've worked together almost successfully the past 3 years. Enjoy. Much love and respect on
Thank
your
you,
birthday,
Bill.
okay?
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, now back to work.
Thank you, everyone. Let me blow out the candle, because this is going to make me nervous. Yeah. Sure. Joe's going to add a little bit to that.
Well, I'll eat it for you. That's all it is.
When you're going with a hard money lender, you have to buy the property in LLC. They don't lend to individuals. So you're going to have to set up that LLC when you buy this property. So you usually set that up prior to the time that you go to the sheriff's sale. And the reason why I say that is I had an instance. I had a client go to the sheriff's sale, buy a property under an LLC that was not set up. Someone set it up and took the property under that LLC. Now, we had a hassle getting it back, but this is the kind of stuff that can happen. So you've got to be careful. Now, also with a hard money lender, they, a lot of times, need to get into this property to do an appraisal. So if there's a tenant in there and they can't get into the property, you could have a problem. Now, the hard money that's not here, but is usually here, do have programs where they can drive by and give you an appraisal. Very important.
Okay. When you guys say drive by, are you talking about a shooting or is
Well, that comes later. The tenant doesn't leave, right? So it's important that you do try to establish that relationship with the tenant if you buy the property, but you don't need to get in there, okay? Another thing, interest starts to accrue after 10 days because there is a 10-day redemption period whereby the owner of the property has the right to buy the property back, okay? As long as they pay. After the 10 days, interest accrues. So if it takes you 45 days to pay, you're going to have whatever you paid plus the accrued interest. It's not a lot, but it will be added on. If for some reason you can't get a loan, you are still obligated to buy that property because the sheriff's department doesn't care that you couldn't get a loan. And what happens, and I've had it happen to some of my clients, is that the lender, after a certain period of time, will file what's called a motion to sale. And what that means is they vacate your sale and they ask the judge to keep your deposit. In that instance, they can keep your deposit, relist the property for sale to another person if you don't buy within a certain period of time.
Can I get my money back if it's right?
There's two things. In New Jersey, the statute allows the lender to request the court to give them the money, the deposit, as liquidated damages. What that means is it doesn't matter what they sell the property for at another sale, you lose your deposit. Most lenders don't do that, but I recently had an instance where that did happen. The second way, that's the common way, is that the lenders will agree that if you don't buy, say you bought it for $200 and then they sell it for $195. Well, you lose your $5,000 of your deposit plus whatever the costs were to file the motion to vacate the sale, which usually is about $1,000, and whatever the sheriff's fees were. So in that instance, let's just say the sheriff's fees were $3,000, the attorney's fees were $1,000, they lost $5,000, and you put a deposit down of $40,000, you would lose $9,000. Okay, and you get your $31,000 back. But there is that statutory provision which allows the lender's attorney to request liquidated damages, and if they get the $40,000, it doesn't matter what they sell. If they sell it for $195, you still lose your $40,000. Okay, so if for some reason you have not closed on the property and you get a motion to vacate the sale, you better see a lawyer. Okay? Don't hold on to that.
Thank you, Joe. Hopefully that answered the question. Sir, your name?
I had a question. My name's Jim. I've been on the website prior to this, and you'll see an opening bid. Sometimes it's as low as $500, sometimes it's $54, whatever the property is. But why would they put a real low $500 opening bid if they won't accept anything under $150?
Yeah, well, so that is not auction.com's doing. That is up to the mortgage companies. And they all have different theories as to what's going to inspire bidders to bid on their property. So some of the mortgage companies won't disclose what their minimum bid is. They'll just have some low number to attract more people to bidding, hoping that everyone will get excited when they see bidding and someone will bid on it. Others will actually publish their true threshold bid, and sometimes it's beyond their control. It depends on what type of loan it is and who the mortgage insurance company is. So again, it's all over the board. So yeah, it's confusing. I agree.
Then one other question, the title will sometimes show what any liens or any outstanding mortgages on your website. Will show the amounts. Is that usually what is going to be, what the bank is going to be looking for?
Yeah, so the title that is on our website, that's public information that comes directly from the real estate records of the county courthouse. So we're disclosing, and we'll have the date of the last title that information is from. So that's going to show you if there's other mortgages, maybe the foreclosure is on a first mortgage and there's a second mortgage, and we'll have the amounts of that mortgage as well, tax liens, things like that. To understand that, that's where you're going to need a title professional. And I don't know, I have a question then for title. I mean, so I'm a new investor, I haven't bought a property yet, I'm looking at title, I'm confused. Is that a service that you offer where I can give you the title and have you sort of give me your opinion on that?
Yeah, so what you're going to see is just a snapshot that they're doing of the current owner and no history behind that. So that is something that we could look at. But for most people, if they're really interested in a property, we do a 20-year investors report that does upper court judgments as well that you're not going to see on there, and other ways that other things that may affect the property. On top of that, one thing that I always tell people is call the municipality, check on the taxes. Water, sewer, taxes are not going to be eliminated by foreclosure. You need to make sure that you know what those are before you bid on that property, because that is going to be a responsibility on you as the new owner. A lot of investors go for a 60-year report after they've won the bid. And most times, conditionally, the only way you can get that 20% back after you've won that bid is a title discrepancy that is found that was not disclosed. That doesn't mean that's a guaranteed thing, but that is the only condition that you'll have to get that back. So that's normally what we do. Outside of that, I would say be careful with condo association and HOAs. The majority of the time, it's 6 months of condo dues are the maximum they can collect if they were named in that foreclosure. But one of the reasons that we review stuff is if they didn't name something in the foreclosure, it's not removed. So that would still be affecting the property.
Good point.
Yeah.
When you're at the sheriff's sale and you're bidding on a property, I would go up and speak to the person at the desk and ask them, are there any tax liens? Are there any liens? I can't tell you the number of files I get from people who bought properties who then go to buy it, they do the search, and they find there's taxes of $20,000, $30,000, $25,000 out there. They are supposed to, okay, they are supposed to tell you at the sheriff's sale that there are taxes outstanding. Get the person's name, write it down, if they tell you there's nothing outstanding. Because at least it would give us a basis if we had to try to vacate the sale at a later time, that you went up, you spoke to someone, they told you there was no outstanding tax liens, okay? It's at least something that we can use, because we have very limited ability after you buy that property to get you out of the sale, to have that sale vacated on your behalf. Now, a lot of times what I can do is I can get the taxes, the lender to pay some of the taxes, but I would suggest that you do that in addition to calling the tax collector prior to bidding on the property. You should definitely call the collector and find out if there's any taxes owed or tax liens. Water liens, sewer liens, okay?
Okay, thank you, Joe. Sir, name?
Hi, my name is Jeff DeLuca. I'm a realtor with Keller Williams. A couple of questions. Since you're right here with hard money lending,
does it matter where my down payment comes from when I get the auction? Hypothetically, if I have a home equity line of credit, if I just want to take a $20,000 home equity, you know, line of credit, is that considered cash for putting a down payment in?
Well, I'll speak on behalf of First Equity and my dealings with them, and I've done a lot of business with them over the years. They're not going to care where the money for the down payment came, whether it was a gift, whether it was mattress money, or it was your 401k. They don't care about that. They just want to make sure that you have confirmation from the bid, from the sheriff, that shows that you put 20% down the day of the acquisition, and that the values are there. Because they want to make sure that after this home is repaired, that they are no more than 65% all into this transaction. So if that house appraises for $1 million after renovations, $650 is the most they're going to want to lend on that house with your acquisition and your construction.
Okay, gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
And I did have another question. Taxes, sewer, water, are those the only things that can hold over?
They're going to affect
I'm trying
you?
to figure out what.
John, you want to take that or Joe?
Yeah.
Yeah, there is a lot of things that can be, but a lot of them are conditional. A lot of different factors. You know, if, like I was saying before, you know, all these mortgage judgments, all of them will be removed if they were named in the foreclosure action. If they're not named, then it's not something that's going to be automatically removed. Then when those pendants is filed, after that date, no debt can attach to that property during that time frame of certain types. But there's a lot of complexities that can be there. If it's a vacant property and there's stuff assessed from the township against them for being a vacant, distressed property, or if there's if it's been declared unfit and unsafe, and the town feels that can need to be demolished, you know, or I'm sure you can speak to this, open permits, you know, that go on. Do you want to speak about permits a little bit? Real quick.
Well, definitely, when you're doing your due diligence on these properties, definitely go to the town. It's all open information. Ask the construction clerk there for if there's any permits for the property. They'll disclose all that to you. You know, if you think, you know, actually when you do get the house, if you find a finished basement, any things like that, and you find out it's not a permanent basement, you may have problems. You may have to bring everything up to code. So no, definitely looking at any kind of permits they've had pulled recently.
Joe?
And one last quick one. As far as usually the bank likes, when you have a mortgage, the bank, you pay your taxes with the mortgage. So it seems to me that since the bank, they like to be the first in line, you know what I mean? So it seems to me that the chances of taxes being owed be low.
Okay, remember, it's in foreclosure because people have not paid their mortgage. So if they haven't paid their mortgage and taxes were escrowed, they haven't paid their taxes. So whether it was an escrow or not,
the
the tax.
will still pay it even though they're not.
You know, some of the banks are better than others at monitoring that, but you'd be surprised how many don't have the ability to monitor it because they have properties all over the country, and so the taxes end up in default.
Another good reason for just going to the town building department and pulling the permits, because they have to give it to you under what's called the Open Public Record Act, the OPRA Act, is there may be an underground oil tank that's decommissioned on the property, right? And you can't get on the property beforehand. So if you pull the permits, you'll see if maybe there was an oil tank that was decommissioned, and you're buying a house with a decommissioned oil tank. So that's a way to at least do some prelim due diligence. Okay? Because once you buy that house, you buy it with however and whatever is on that property. So whatever you can do to do your due diligence before you buy it, I suggest that you do it, and that's another way of doing it. Now, as far as getting into the property, I bought myself a policeman uniform, and I go up to the door, and I say I got a call about a disturbance. No.
Do not do
He's
that.
not joking. He does that type of stuff, but don't you do it.
Go on, Joe. Let's try that. Okay. Sir, your name?
My name is Lawrence,
Hey, Lawrence.
and my question is, say you win the auction, and you're in the process of evicting the previous owners, is there any way to hold them liable or to prevent them from vandalizing and sabotaging the property before they're out of the property?
Okay, so first of all, don't use the term eviction because that's one thing you don't want to confuse when you have an occupant that was the previous owner as opposed to a tenant. And Joe will tell you about that. He's the man with that. How do you prevent them from bashing the place? Or what can you do to protect yourself against that?
There's really nothing you can do. I don't know how you're going to prevent somebody from damaging the property if they're living in there before or after you buy it. You know, once you buy it, you own it. You have the right to at least go to the house and speak to the tenant and tell the tenant that you're the owner. And if it's me, I tell them I want to see the property. I want to go in. I want to see it. But if you're trying to force that tenant out, you have no way of knowing whether a week from now that tenant's going to damage the property.
Is there any legal recourse you can have against them once you've gone in and saw the property and saw that there was no damages, and then when you finally take possession of it, you discover the plumbing ripped out or something? How do you
Well, you can certainly try to sue someone if they damage the property, but the likelihood if it's an owner who's foreclosed, they have no money. And if it's a tenant, they're going to move and they're not going to tell you where they're going. So you're going to have a problem, you know, either way. Now, as far as evicting people in New Jersey, if it's an owner, there are methods through the Superior Court to remove an owner much easier than to remove a tenant. Because a tenant under New Jersey law has more rights sometimes than the owners do, okay, when they're renting the property. This is a for-cause state, which means you have to have cause to remove a tenant from a property that they're renting that you own. So it's non-payment of rent, if they're selling drugs out of the house, if they're damaging the property. So if you buy the property and there's a tenant in there, if the tenant has a lease, say for 2 years, you take subject to that lease for 2 years. Okay? You cannot evict that tenant if they have a written lease. If it's a month-to-month, you can't evict them unless you have good cause. Now, like I said, good cause is non-payment of rent or damaging the property. But it's a lot more difficult to get a tenant out. What I sometimes propose to my clients is that they go and see if they can speak to the tenant and offer the tenant some money to move out. Because you can do that in the state. And it's successful a lot of times.
What's that called, sir?
Cash to move. That's what I call it. Or sometimes what we do is we send a notice of rent increase, and we set the rent at an amount which we hope the tenant does not want to pay. Now, it can't be an exorbitant amount of rent, but it's got to be in relation to whatever your expenses are going to be. So that's another method of doing it, okay? But it's not easy when you have a tenant. When you have an owner, we file what's called a writ of possession with the state of with the Superior Court. We get a writ of possession issued. We give that to the sheriff, and the sheriff can force the owner to be out because the owner no longer owns the property.
I'm sorry, Joe. What if my cousin, I was renting it to my cousin, they were paying $500 a month?
Well, that's their problem because you can go to market rent. You're allowed to do that.
Oh, so then you mean the next person might have to pay the $1,000 fair market?
No, your cousin's going to pay $1,000 if I'm representing you.
All right, but again, ladies and gentlemen, if someone had a bogus
Lease.
rental agreement, Joe is suggesting that there are ways for you to combat that to make it market rate when you get in. Okay?
And I just wanted to add something onto what Joe was talking about. When you win a bid, the importance of homeowners insurance, because you have the liability of that property. We don't supply homeowners insurance, but a lot of people will get it on there because once you win that bid, you know, you're going to be the new buyer, you're going to be the new owner. If that house, God forbid, something happens to it, you know, that's your problem.
One other thing after the bid, you have to, after you purchase a property, go out and get title insurance. Because the only method, real method that I have of getting you out of a transaction in New Jersey is if there is a title defect. Say the foreclosure was not filed properly, or there's a defect in the title. So you will need to have good title when you go to sell this property. Now, the good thing about Fortune Title is that a lot of the lenders in New Jersey that do foreclosures use Fortune Title because they are the preeminent title company when it comes to these type of transactions. So if you're going to use a title company, I've been doing real estate transactions for 35 years. I have title companies that I use on my normal transactions.
Look like 89.
And, you know, my birthday was in December, and
REO, the stuff you can actually buy on auction site. Well, no, the closings won't be online. They have a title company that usually has the title for them. If you decide to work with them, they could be located anywhere, or they might do a mail-away closing with you. But if you're entitled to use your own title company when it comes to these things, and it's suggested that you do, because you want to use someone that you can trust, that maybe your attorney has worked with before, or that you've been recommended to, because there could be something wrong with that. And if you buy the home with a defect, and you're gonna have a problem later when you try to resell. Yeah. Yeah, you need a new set of eyes. Correct. I'm sorry. No, you can do a mail-away closing as long as the title company is okay with that. They can send a notary to you because there's notaries work independently in New Jersey. They can just represent that title company and come to you. That's no problem. Or you can go to them, whatever they decide.
You do not need to get that flight, okay?
Yeah, no, you can stay here. I'll go to Florida for you.
Can I just add on that real quick?
Sure.
So from a title perspective, normally, if it is a completely cash transaction, we can do that transaction electronically. But if you have us, for example, going to the sheriff's office, picking up the sheriff's deed, we're holding that money in escrow, or if you're doing a mortgage closing, if there's a lender involved, most of the time they're going to want, a physical closing with the notary there to sign that documentation. But if if everything's being done cash, and you guys are picking up that sheriff's deed and recording it yourself, a lot of times that's just going to be done completely electronically. If you want a closer or notary there, that can be provided, but you don't need that to incur that additional cost.
Outstanding.
Thank you.
Jay, one second. I just have one question. We're about to break soon, but I just want to go over one thing. You are going to get your last question. Syed, just want to let everybody know, again, free accounts. We talked about all of the assets we have to offer. Could you please just go into New Jersey, if you would, type in to let them know Joel wasn't telling them a fib. So when you go in with your free account, you'll see that exactly 5,460 assets are up in this particular state as an offering for you right now. So you're going to go back up to our all asset types, and you'll see I have bank owned and foreclosure. These are the different types, the bank owned or bank owned, REO. The other ones are the sheriff sales, foreclosure sales. So those are the two types. So as we differentiate, we're going to go into foreclosure sales now. 4,063. The balance are REO. Does that make sense to everyone? And that was really hard to understand, right? No, very simple, very easy, and it's all free. Again, we're here to provide these services for you free. I have an expert panel. Ladies and gentlemen, clap it up for my expert panel. Excuse me, that's not loud enough, guys. Clap it up for the expert panel. Okay, thank you. And the lead ambassador for auction.com, Mr. Joel Friedman. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you.
So I know we got one more question, and then we're going to break. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm David from Realmont Realty. I have been attending auctions, but at auctions what happens is when they read the details of the property, so and so is pending, so and so is pending. Is there any way we could get the document before we bid on the property?
What they're reading at the foreclosure sale?
What they're reading.
So that all they're reading at the foreclosure sale is what appears in the ad, which is a description of the property. Okay?
That is public information,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
It is available to you. You have to look on the website and look at the listing in the paper for that particular county. They'll tell you exactly what all the liens and all these things are.
Right. So yes, you are
on the
saying
website you're talking about, right?
Yes, both. The
But
county
my question
website.
is in general, like not only auction properties, in general other properties, what they are reading there, since the information is not clear, is there any way we could get the document before?
You might need to see Jonathan.
Yeah. I don't know if I understand.
Okay, so what you're saying is when you go to sheriff's sales, what the auctioneer is reading off, he's saying it so fast, you're not catching it. By the time you make sense of it, the property's gone.
Regarding the taxes,
Yeah.
regarding the
Correct.
liens and
Yes, most counties have have that information on their website. So if you Google, I don't know, do you go to Middlesex? Primarily, where do you go?
Middlesex.
Middlesex, okay. So Middlesex has their own website. If you click on more, yeah, they do. If you Google Middlesex County Sheriff's Sales, click on what says more details, and then it'll tell you everything that's going on about that property. If there's a few...
But it doesn't give all those details. It
Yeah.
just gives the basic information.
Exactly, yeah, somewhat different. So Middlesex, for instance, may not give you as much information. Check out Somerset. Somerset will give you a page this big of all the info. Essex County does the same thing. So what I would do if I were you with Middlesex is I would just start my process really early in the week. Whatever properties I'm interested in, just call ahead of time and find out what the taxes, sewer, water, all these things are, and just jot it down. They're not all set up the same, which is really crazy. I wish it was all done in a uniform manner because it makes it really hard. I'm sorry, did I see your hand go up? Okay. I'm sorry, hopefully that answered your question.
All right, so I hope that we didn't scare anyone and you're afraid now. I hope that you are actually comfortable. I don't know how many properties you're going to have that have, what do you say, an oil tank underneath that's ruptured.
Most of them.
Yeah, I mean, stuff happens, but we don't want you to be scared. We want you to be confident. And you're in a really hot market. I was reading the paper today. This is today's USA Today. And it says that there has been an increase in first-time home buyers by millennials because they're seeing each other on Facebook and Instagram, and they're getting jealous of each other who are owning properties. And they said that currently some 65% of first-time home buyers are 35 and under. That's huge. So there's an unbelievable market out there for these properties, and we want you to be successful. So we're here to help you. We're going to end the session now. We're all going to stay around to answer all your questions. We've got a lot of auction.com staff who are here, who are going to help you sign up for that free account and show you how to navigate our website. So good luck. Thank you.
Surveys.
Oh yeah, please fill out these surveys. You better eat your thing.
I'm going to give it away as soon as I can. Hey, how are you?
I didn't know you guys existed.
No.
No.
No, how come?
You know, I buy a lot of properties. I just met...
Yeah, you met Hugo? Great. Awesome guy. Come walk with me to my table.
I still like you. I buy a lot of properties, but I never bought on online, you know, on the rare auction there.
Yeah.
I get intimidated because I don't know half the things what's going on.
Correct.
So he's telling me that you're the folks who would help.
Yeah, we usually, we take care of that. Let me just move this in. Come on, I'll explain to you. Oh, sorry.
Piece structure.
Well, it's different because are you looking to purchase properties in sheriff's sales? Is that what you're trying to do?
From these guys, I buy all the time. On auction.com, I buy properties all the time.
Okay.